Hey folks, this is Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a little slow going for a while, and this channel might be slow going for a little while to come yet. Today we're taking a look at the FB7631 by Ganzo. FB means this is part of their 440C series, and I ended up getting two of them. So we're going to look at, one of these. Well, they're both the same thing. They're the same knife. We're going to take a look at these today. I just want to give you a little bit of an update on me. Yes, I'm still in a lot of pain. I've got the report back from my doctor. I talked to my doctor and stuff, and I found out why I'm having such intense shoulder pain, and then just below my collarbone right here. Turns out the root cause is my bicep. And I don't know how it all works, but he did some tests and some procedures and stuff. And that's the root cause, and he says I can just wait it out. That's all I can do. If I want it to prolong it, I can start doing, overdoing it. I can keep doing what I'm doing, and that can prolong it, or I can just do as little as possible, and that's going to help it to heal up. And so that's the story of what's going on there. So for the foreseeable future, I will not be putting much text at all on the screens. Because that's one of the things that I find really hard, just to be in that position of operating a mouse and a keyboard. For those of you who haven't watched some of my recent videos, I usually do a fair bit of that in my editing. I try to edit my videos a fair bit because I often misspeak, and so then I have to put in corrections in the text sometimes. I'm not a professional. I'm a guy who likes knives, who likes to share what I know about knives with other people. So that's what I like to do. I'm not a genius about knives. I'm not an expert, but I do have a fair bit of knowledge that I've attained from others mostly. And so I want to share it on to yet others who might not know as much as I do, or might know more about other things. And the beautiful thing about the internet these days is we can share information between each other so much, so easily. This knife is an axis lock knife. Ganzo calls it the G-Lock. As I said, 440C, G10 handle scales. You can get it in a G10 carbon fiber laminate on top of G10, which, they don't have all the holes in it. So if you've seen my recent video showing how it is laminate, this is also a high saber grind knife and a thumb stud deployment and axis lockup and ball bearings. So steel ball bearings, and that's why when you disengage the axis lock, that is pulling this part back right here. I'll show you close-ups later on. It just falls down, and it's a fun knife to play with. Actually, I shouldn't do too much of that in my right hand because that's the muscle there that's in bad shape. In fact, I've been using my right hand so much for knives, even though I'm left-handed, that I've overdone it with my right hand. So, I'll try to, show off with my left hand a little bit more. So let's put this on the tabletop now, and we're going to take a closer look at this knife. I'm calling it a mid-size EDC folder. It's not small, it's not huge, it's a good size knife. Here's the Ontario Rat 1 that I've been using for measurements. And, if we line up the pivot pins right here, you can see that it's smaller than a Rat 1. But it's actually a tiny bit bigger than a Rat 2. So, it's right in that size range. It's a, knife that feels good in my hand. My hands are between large and extra large. You can see just a little bit of the knife handle sticking out back there when I, do a fist grip. Saber grip feels good in the hand. Reverse grips, you've got this angle back here that just feels really, really good on there. And when you turn it a reverse, that also works. So not bad. There's no forward choil, but they've got a great big sharpener's choil. And on both of these samples, the sharpener's choil does not go far enough into the blade. You have to sharpen up into the plunge. And that's why, if you take a close look at this right here, the steel, the depth of the cut this way comes up higher. That's because it's coming up onto the plunge right there. And the orange one is even more so that way than the black one is. This black one's been resharpened by myself already. It's 20 degrees per side now. But the sharpening job on this knife here, the black one wasn't quite as bad as this orange one, but this orange one, the grind angle right here is quite steep. It's more like 26, 27, and then it shallows down like crazy, to under 17 degrees right here, and then it comes back a little steeper here. That variable angle of the final grind there, I dislike that when I come across. I dislike that when I come across a knife that's got such a variable angle, because when you go to sharpen this knife, for a part of the knife, you're going to be sharpening up on the shoulder, and on part of the knife, you're going to be sharpening on the tip, the cutting edge, and back and forth until you get enough steel all the way across the knife down so that you've got a nice even grind. And that, frankly, is a waste of steel. And so I'm a little bit disappointed in the final grind on this knife. And, well, since I'm talking about cons, the other con I don't like about this knife is it's a right side only pocket clip. It's a pocket clip that's made just for this knife. You can tell by the way the handle's made right there. It's, on that angle, you just can't put it over here. The pocket clip would be coming way off, into open space if you try to just put it on the other side. Now, I'm not going to take this knife totally apart to show you the insides, because axis locks, they can be a pain to put back together. And for me right now, with that pain in my hand and the arthritis in my fingers, I even ended up cutting myself last night. I cut myself on the side just because I didn't have a good enough grip when I was doing some testing on this knife. And that became a painful situation because I nicked my finger on this side right down to the knuckle, to the bone. And not too comfortable. Not terrible, but, got to be careful when you're working with knives, especially when your hands are misbehaving. And I'm going to get rid of some of these threads here. They're a little bit too long. I will show you a picture of the knife with the handle scale off so you can see the liners. It's kind of cool that the holes don't line up with each other. I actually like that because it creates a really cool effect. Like wood that's got wormholes all through it and stuff, but this is G10 on steel liners. Nice drop point blade, nice back swedge here, high saber grind, that's a flat grind, a satin finish on it, which means you got the brushed lines on there, and a little bit of a dip here where your thumb rest is. There's no jimping up here, a little bit of jimping on the liners right there, and that's all the jimping on the entire knife. And it doesn't really need a lot. It's just the general shape of it really fits the hand well. This rounded part at the back here, fits into the palm of the hand very well right there. And so it's easy to get a good solid grip on this knife in the many different ways. And it cuts well. It's a good mid-size EDC that for the price is very good. We're talking under $20 US for this knife if you go to Power Cutlery. In France, it's like 35 euros. In Germany, it's like 32 euros. It can get expensive. Those are Amazon. I'll put those links down below. I couldn't find it in Amazon Canada or Amazon United States. They just don't have it. But Power Cutlery is better anyways, especially when you get 5% off when you use coupon code CCE in lowercase for your Ganzo knives from them. So check out that store if you're not familiar with them yet, and let them know that Jake from Canadian Cutting Edge sent you there. Let's go over all of the dimensions, the size information, and stuff like that. I'll take the black one off the screen. So we'll look at this orange one. When this measuring tape disappears, that means I'm done talking about the sizes. The weight for this knife is 116 grams, 4.1 ounces. Factory sharpness of the cutting edge on this orange one, 100 even. That's very good. So although they've got that variability with the grind angles all over the place, they ended up making it sharp. So at least it's sharp. The sizes now. The cutting edge, 2.83 centimeters, The cutting edge, 8.65 centimeters, 3.4 inches. The blade length, so tip to the G10's a little bit less, 8.5 centimeters, 3.35 inches. The blade thickness, 3.24 millimeters, which is 0.1275 inches, right around an eighth of an inch. The blade depth, 2.83 centimeters, 1.11 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, 0.58 millimeters, 0.023 inches right here. And this one is almost identical to that, so good consistency there. It's a tiny bit thicker than I prefer, but not bad. The grind angle, like I said, 16.8 degrees, 21.2 degrees, but that's only, about an inch down from the sharpener's choil. If you measure right at the sharpener's choil, it's a much steeper angle here. It's a more shallow angle there. Disappointing. But like I said, it's an under $20 knife, and hopefully you've got a good sharpening system so that you can sharpen your knives yourself. And, now that I've sharpened this, it's got a very nice edge. I didn't even put a mirror edge on it, and it didn't take me that terribly long to sharpen it up, and it cuts very, very well now. The handle length is 11.62 centimeters, 4.57 inches. Grip area, 9.5 centimeters, 3.74 inches. The handle thickness, 1.3 centimeters, 0.511 of an inch, so a little over half an inch thick. That's not counting the pocket clip, that's a little bit more. The handle depth, that's this dimension, 2.85 centimeters, 1.12 inches. And when the knife is closed, that's 3.8 centimeters, 1.5 inches. And the total length of this knife is 20.05 centimeters. And in inches, I forgot to put the inches on the screen again, just like the last couple of times. It's over 7/8, so just under 8 inches long. Not bad at all. Like I said, 1933 at Power Cutlery, minus 5%. If you want the carbon fiber laminate, it's 20.53, just $1.30 more, and you also get 5% off of that. So do shop around. These are out of stock at a lot of other places like Fast Tech, GearBest. They just don't have them anymore. It looks like they'll be getting them back in stock in the future, but right now, Power Cutlery for North America is the place to get these, and a couple other places. If you know of a place that has these in stock, please send me a link, and hopefully I'll get it. I've not been responding to comments. I've actually not even had time to respond to emails. Well, I've had time, but it really does hurt my hands too much just to sit and type for a while. And so unfortunately, I just am not communicating much with you guys via text right now, comments, emails and stuff. But if you are fine with short answers, go ahead and send me an email and I'll respond to you. Email canadiancuttingedge@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you within a couple of days. This weekend, I'm going to go visit my grandchildren. That's a 2.5-hour drive, and I'm not taking my computer along, and so I'll be away from my computer for a couple of days this weekend. And since today's Friday, hey, time's flying. So what are the unique features about this? Well, it's not very common that Ganzo does unique pocket clips. They usually use a standard spoon pocket clip. It's done fairly well. It doesn't have a flat part coming out, but it slides over the denim very well. Let's demonstrate. So here's a pocket, and it climbs over that edge and goes on quite well. It's a little bit close to the body of the knife, and so it takes a little bit to push it in there. But as you can see, there's very little knife sticking out. That's less than 1/4 of an inch, maybe right around 1/4 of an inch, less than a centimeter, 7 or 8 millimeters. Not bad at all. Oh, I got stuff coming apart here. And, that's not a bad pocket clip. The grip is very good. Feels very good in the hand. Back spacer, lanyard hole is huge. Access lock works very well. Lockup is rock solid. I've tested a load of Ganzo access lock knives, and they're all solid on the back. Whacking on the back, spine wax, they've just made them very, very well. And in the pictures, they originally made these with blue hardware. I'm glad that they've gone to, just the regular satin hardware now. Hopefully when you buy yours, it'll all have satin hardware. The blue ones were the early editions. And I don't like the blue hardware. That anodization actually softens the screws, and this is better. So I've talked about all the cons. I've talked about most of the pluses. Good grip. Oh, great balance. The balance point is, right there, just where it should be. So that's a very good thing. And like I did say, the grip is very good in the hand. I think it's a good looking basic access lock knife with a nice blade shape. The tip is not super thick, but it's not super thin either. It's a very good compromise of thickness and precision. You can do lots of delicate work on here. It just works very, very well. I would like a stone wash, but satin finish isn't bad. That's just a personal taste thing. It's a good looking knife. Feels good. Action's good. I showed you how easily, you pull the access lock back and the blade just wants to fall. If you don't have anything that it's running into, it just wants to move. Very comfortable, easy to use. I love pocket clips. I wasn't going to use this hand that much for that. It's a fun knife and functional. Cons, it needs a tiny bit bigger sharpener's choil. I would like a left side pocket clip on it, but those aren't enough cons to say no to this knife. At this price range, it's just really hard to say this is a bad choice. If you're looking for something else, certainly buy something else. But if you're looking for this, I can't see enough reasons to say no to this knife. So thanks for watching my video. Thanks for sharing it with your friends. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing. And remember, guys, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb. And hopefully I heal up pretty soon so my videos can get better. You can hear me talking. It's a bit disjointed every once in a while. That's because, that's just the way chronic pain works. And then when you add on new pains, it kind of messes with a guy. But I do my best with whatever life throws my way. Hopefully you've learned to do the same or are in the process. None of us are perfect yet, are we? But as long as we're moving forward, thanks for joining with me in this thing called life. Till next time, have a good one. Bye for now.